Hello, everybody, and welcome to Late Night Football. We have been having quite a few issues with the streaming and everything else, but thank you for being with us here today. Thank you for your patience. We are doing this as a pre-record, but the game has just finished. Chelsea against Burnley. Nishikant here with me. Nishikant, welcome on the show.
Hey Rohit, glad to be here. Thanks for having me here.
Yes, absolutely. And I can see, well, you got a bit of a smile there. You can have a bigger smile because it is 3-0 Chelsea against Burnley. My prediction, absolutely correct. I got that right, which never really happens. Usually doesn't happen. So the fact that it happened today is an absolute miracle. But it did happen. And I'm hoping that my predictions for the other games do not come true. Some of the other games do not come true. But, well, we'll get right into it. There's a lot to cover. So we'll start off with the Fat Four. Chelsea's almost starting today. You had Ziyech, Werner and Havertz starting. Pulisic would have started, but for injury. But still a pretty strong side from Chelsea. What was your initial reaction to seeing three of those guys starting?
Yeah, I loved it. Absolutely. I mean, I was pretty happy with the team sheet. Uh, I'd been discussing this earlier with some other Chelsea fans, and this was kind of something everyone was unanimous on, which is not often the case when it comes to Chelsea fans. But yeah, I mean, it's a shame that Pulisic couldn't feature, and I'm just worried it's not something serious, and hopefully it's just a precautionary measure to not play him today. But we'll get to know more. But yeah, I mean, I hope this happens soon. I would love to see that the Fab Four together. But I'm happy with the way we set up today and the way we played. So
Yeah.
not not an issue.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. You start with Kante in the middle, and then you play Mount
Yeah,
and Havertz as the central midfield,
absolutely.
as a
I mean,
creative
that's
midfielder.
exactly something that was lacking. And Kante is one the world's best player at that position. He's a World Cup winner at that position. So it makes sense to play him there. And I think Havertz and Mount, both of them have the capability to beat the press as well as take the ball forward and make something happen, which I don't think neither Jorginho nor Kovacic has in as much as they do. So yeah, I mean it's a perfect lineup that we should be playing, and I'm happy to see that Lampard has tried it today, and hopefully this win will give him confidence to try it again next match.
Yeah. That first goal though that Chelsea scored. Do you think it was an error from Pope, or do you think it was a smart finish and cunning from Ziyech?
I think you can make argument on both sides, but I'd say it's an error for Pope. I think, I mean, usually someone like Ziyech would go for the far corner with a curler, so I think that's what he was anticipating, and probably this assumption of his is what was the reason for the downfall. It was clever, definitely, from Ziyech slotting it the way he did, but for someone who kept 15 clean sheets last season, you would expect Pope to be able to save that. So I think he would be disappointed first before anyone else.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it is sad. It was sad to see, but it was not anything more than what Chelsea deserved. I think they had been pretty
Yeah,
dominant up to that
definitely.
point, and they just
Yes.
made that just went on and snowballed. That third goal, I think that is the one that I think most Chelsea fans will look at. This is how we
Yes.
want Chelsea to play. Like really neat interplay,
Exactly.
one-touch passing, and then a nice finish from Werner, from with an assist from Ziyech. It is like that's in a nutshell. I think that is what Lampard wants Chelsea to do, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. I mean that's the kind of swift passing and quick movement what the team lacked last season, what we lacked so far this season, and having Ziyech, Havertz, these two play on the right with Mount, hopefully Pulisic or Cho, these guys on the right. I think it gives us that fluidity, and with Ziyech we get that wand of a left foot. He can make passes that are inch perfect, and that's something we were lacking. We lacked since Fabregas left. We didn't have anyone who could make that one pass that would break the opposition line. And I think that's what we've got in Ziyech, and he's being very well complemented by James on the right with his wand of a right foot.
Yeah, for sure, and it makes a lot of sense when you when you play that sort of against Burnley, it makes sense to play this way because Burnley are not very good offensively, and we saw that today. No shots on target from Burnley. Another solid defensive performance from Mendy, Kepa, sorry, not Kepa, Mendy, and who's the other one? Silva and
Yeah.
Zuma. Lots of R's there. But yeah, very good performance from all three of them. And then you've also got Ben Chilwell and Reece James really supporting. It almost seems like replacing Alonso and Kepa has made the difference to the side, hasn't it? It almost.
Exactly. And I personally have been saying that, I mean, I've been saying that Marcos Alonso should be replaced since the time people were blaming David Luiz for our problems. Often Luiz was left isolated because of Alonso. And obviously, Kepa was just not cutting it. I don't know if it's a lack of confidence or, probably a technical issue with his game. I don't know what it is, but he clearly wasn't the right fit. And obviously, left back was one of the most important positions that we had to fill this summer. We did that with Chilwell, and it came out really well. So I'm happy to see that Frank Lampard's first choice in that position has been a wise one.
Mm-hmm. Yes, for sure. And on that note, though, I mean, a little bit of that we have to talk about Burnley as well, because I did mention this yesterday as well. It's just a blunt attack. I don't see where the goals are going to come from for Burnley. Very similar to Sheffield. They have a certain way of playing, and if you counter that, there isn't a lot of ideas or a lot of variation in their play. So you counter that, and it's starting to show now because they are missing players. They've lost players, through transfers or whatever. It's just not, and they're getting sucked into it in a relegation battle as well, which they probably wouldn't want to be, but they're getting sucked into it at this point. It's starting to become troublesome for them too.
Yeah, it's not looking good for Burnley for sure. And I mean, they have been playing this style since forever. Like, I mean, they are a one-dimensional team. They are physical. They are well organized in defense, and they attack with the long balls to their center forwards, which they did a couple of times today as well. And I think it caught Zuma off guard, and he almost made a foul. There were certain nervy moments as well. There was one where, I think Mendy did brilliantly without having to make a save. He did enough to get the striker off track and distracted and shoot the ball over the bar. So yeah, I think that's pretty much what their game plan was. Uh, I think what they lack is aggression. They were very lethargic. They looked like a team that was probably beaten before even coming out of the tunnel. So they didn't compete for second balls. They did start that in the second half, and early second half they really pressed us, and we were looking a bit vulnerable at that time. They did it well, but I don't know if it's a fitness level or something. But they went down again, and Chelsea were, for the most parts we were barely troubled and pretty comfortable with the ball. Obviously, this argument will be there that it's only Burnley, and that's why we have scored 3 goals. But the fact is, it was only West Brom, and we conceded 3 goals in one half. West Brom also were coming, from a bad run of form. They were not like playing really well or anything when they met us. They were coming with a bad run of form, same as Burnley, but we conceded 3 goals and against them. So it's a very good improvement what we saw today and the way the team played. So I think this team is good enough to compete with any team. It's not that it's just Burnley, so we can play with this formation or play with these personnel. I think this is the formation and personnel we have to go with, regardless of whom we are playing. A bit of chopping and changing here and there, maybe bringing in Aspi or something like that. Obviously, we can do, but I think this formation and personnel, they really suit the way we want to play.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. Well, I do disagree with the fact that you said it's only Burnley and that's why Chelsea scored 3 goals. Chelsea scored 3 goals because that's the obligation to their sponsor. They have to score. They have to score. They have to concede 3 goals. That's
Yeah,
the
yeah.
rule. No.
I think it's the safest bet right now to bet 3 goals in a Chelsea game, one way or the other. I think that's the safest bet to go.
Sure, yeah. But yeah, I mean, as you said, you talked about Chelsea competing and going toe to toe with any team. Would you say? I mean, I'm not talking about just on the basis of this performance today, but as a team, would you say Chelsea are title challengers this year? Do you think? I mean,
No,
considering everything that's going on, would you hazard a guess? Because I believe if Spurs can be in the conversation for a title challenge, I cannot see why Chelsea cannot be in that conversation. But I don't know.
because
What do
I
you think?
also do not think that Spurs should be in the conversation for title challenge. I don't see them as a title challenger. I don't think they'll be challenging for the title. I understand where you're coming from. This situation, it's pretty, the season that we are in. I think it'll be something that we'll see a lot of injuries in. So you never know which player of which team gets injured when and what effect it does have on it, on the team's performance over the season. So yeah, it's unpredictable, but I don't see us being a title challenger, an out and out title challenger. Uh, you know, something freakish might happen. Never say never, but I don't see us title challenger. Neither are Spurs, for that matter. It's going to be between City and Liverpool will win it pretty easily. I don't think City are really, going to do anything given the way they have had their worst start ever. Sorry, Guardiola has had his worst start ever as a manager. So, yeah, I think but it's between Pool and City. That's what this is.
Yeah, I think with Liverpool, the only thing that will stop them is injuries and VAR
Yeah.
and everything else. Like everything that is the divine interventions, every divine intervention that can
By
happen
that
will
matter,
happen.
VAR
But
could make Man United contender as well. I mean, you guys.
well, VAR can do its best, but when you have the certain players in that team, then it's not. There's nothing VAR can do about certain things. There's nothing VAR can do about Harry Maguire pulling down his own defender, his own teammate, to let another team score a goal. VAR can't do anything about
They
that.
did about him pulling down Azpilicueta. So I think that,
Well, see that
there'll be
VAR can
so
help it. See, if VAR pulls someone else down, they can help it. But VAR can't give a foul for him pulling his own player down. So, yeah, I understand what you mean. But yeah, I mean, it is interesting, and I think we will see. The next week is going to be crucial for that. Liverpool against Manchester City, and we will definitely talk about that. But Chelsea have a good run of games now. They've got Rennes in the Champions League. Then they've got Sheffield next weekend. Then they've got the international break, so they'll have a bit of time off. They come back from that, so they have got a little bit of a breathing space now. So a little bit of few relatively easy games where they can probably test their squad, or at least let the ones who are there get match fitness and build that chemistry so that for the tougher challenges to come ahead. So definitely will be interesting to watch Chelsea. And I'll take your point. I don't know what Spurs fans will say, but I'll take your point about Spurs not being title challenges. I think we'll know tomorrow. I think tomorrow will be an interesting test. If they win tomorrow, there might be something there. But if they draw, they
they'll be up
lose
there.
tomorrow.
They'll be up
Yeah,
there. Maybe strong contender for top four. It's a
yeah,
Mourinho team after all. Top title
yeah. No,
challenges.
yeah, I understand what you mean. I think all it requires is one team just going on a run. 10, 15 games, if you can get, 40 points
True.
or 42 points from those 15 games, then you build a little bit of a cushion and that helps you. Especially if we go into another lockdown or if we have some sort of situation where we have a lot of games, that can help you. So there is lots of variation. It just requires that one team. And at this moment in time, not sure Liverpool will be that team. I do feel that their injury problems are a bit exaggerated considering the fact that they have a lot of easy games, and by the time they get to the difficult games, some of their players will come back. So I don't think it will be a problem. Yeah, but we shall see. I've done enough jinxing of Liverpool. It hasn't worked yet, so I don't know if it will work now. We shall see. We do actually have the Liverpool game ongoing right now. It's actually begun as we do this. But thank you for joining me, Nishikant. Really, really appreciate your time. I know we had some technical
Thanks for
issues,
having
but
me
thank you so
again.
much. Yeah, and
No
enjoy
problem.
your weekend.
You
Yes,
too.
whatever's left for it. I mean, it's obviously great when your team wins. Now you can enjoy the rest of your Sunday and have a great time until next weekend. All right, take care.
Yeah.
Have a good day. Bye
You
bye.
too. Bye bye.